Hello, and welcome. Find a comfortable position. Let your body grow heavy and allow your breathing to slow. Tonight, we are not here to seek answers. We are here to embrace the questions. What if the profound silence of the night sky is not empty? What if it is a canvas filled with whispers, secrets that have waited for eons to be heard? The universe is a grand, quiet theater of the impossible. And tonight you have a front row seat. There is no need to understand, only to listen, to drift as we journey together into the gentle, beautiful dark. For millennia, humanity has looked up at the stars and seen patterns, gods and calendars. We told stories to make sense of the infinite. We believed we were charting the known. But with every new lens we build, every new window we open to the cosmos, the universe does not become simpler. It becomes stranger. Instruments like the Hubble and the James Webb Telescope were built to answer old questions, but instead they have given us 1,000 new ones. They show us things that shouldn't exist, forces that defy our models, echoes from a time before time. This is the context of our journey tonight. We stand at the shore of a new cosmic ocean, and its depths are filled with beautiful, inexplicable wonders. Let's wade in, together. Close your eyes. Let the noise of the day dissolve into a gentle, distant hum. We are about to drift away, not across oceans but across time itself. Let your mind become still, open, as we journey toward a silence that was broken by a single, breathtaking image. A gaze into the void, there was a moment, a shared, silent breath held by people all across our world. A magnificent golden eye, the James Webb Space Telescope, had opened its gaze 1,000,000 miles from home. It stared patiently at a tiny patch of sky, a space between the stars that seemed utterly, perfectly empty. A sliver of absolute blackness, no larger than a grain of sand held at arm's length. For days, it simply looked into the void, listening to the deepest silence in the universe. We were waiting for the void to speak back. The first light, and then the message arrived, an image downloaded from the heavens, and the void was not empty. It was overflowing. Imagine the deepest, darkest velvet you can conjure in your mind. Now, picture someone scattering a king's ransom of jewels across it. Rubies, sapphires, diamonds, and opals, thousands upon thousands of them, glittering in the dark. But these were not jewels. Each point of light, every soft, swirling smudge of color, was a galaxy. Not a star, an entire galaxy, home to billions of stars and countless worlds. The scientists who saw it first did not speak. There were no words. There was only a profound, soul-shaking awe, a stillness that comes when you witness something holy. Echoes of creation. You see, we were not just looking out into space. We were looking back through time. The light from the faintest, reddest of these galaxies, like distant embers in a cosmic fire, had been traveling for over 13 billion years to reach us. It left its home when the universe was a mere infant, just beginning to learn its own laws. We were seeing the very first verses of creation's poem, the first chords played in the symphony of existence. We were looking at brilliant, beautiful ghosts of light, ancient photons that had crossed an entire universe just to find a final home. In our eyes. And in that moment, as humanity gazed upon its own cosmic dawn, everything changed. But this perfect, beautiful picture held a secret. Something was wrong. Something was hidden in the light, something that would soon make that reverent silence. A silence of utter disbelief. The Garden of Dawn. Imagine we are cosmic gardeners. For decades we believed we understood the timeline of our universe. We held the story of creation in our hands, a simple, elegant tale. It began with a single seed, the Big Bang. From this seed, we thought, the garden of space-time slowly grew. First came the fragile stems of hydrogen and helium, then the first faint blossoms of light, the earliest stars. We expected to look back to the dawn of time and see a nursery. We expected to find cosmic seedlings, tiny, scattered, and just beginning their long journey to become the great structures we know today. We built a new eye to see this cosmic nursery. A golden eye, so powerful it could gaze upon the universe when it was just a fragile infant. We pointed the Webb Telescope toward the deepest, darkest patch of sky, looking past the familiar, ancient galaxies, searching for the very first whispers of creation. We were prepared to see the seeds, but that is not what we found. An impossible forest. Instead of a nursery of tiny, glowing seeds, the Webb saw a forest of impossible trees that should not exist. Imagine the gardener who planted a single acorn yesterday, returning this morning to find a towering ancient oak, an oak with a trunk so wide you cannot wrap your arms around it, with bark etched with the wisdom of ages, with branches heavy with stars already fully formed. This is the shock that rippled through the scientific world. This is what silenced the room. In the cradle of the cosmos, where only the faintest glimmers of life should be, we found them. Galaxies. Not small, chaotic clusters of new stars, but majestic, structured spirals. Galaxies with the weight and grace of billions of years, found in a moment when the universe itself was less than a single billion years old. They were too big, too bright, too perfect. They were like finding a complete, handwritten novel on the first page of history. The math did not allow for it. The models did not predict it. The story we told ourselves about the slow, patient growth of the cosmos was suddenly, beautifully and terrifyingly wrong. It was the silence of astonishment. The silence that comes when the map you have been following for your entire life dissolves in your hands, revealing a landscape far wilder and more mysterious than you could have ever dreamed. The rules, as we knew them, were broken, and we were left staring into the darkness, realizing we knew nothing at all about the beginning. Imagine the night sky as a grand, old book, each star a single glowing word printed on a page of velvet black. For millennia we have read this book, learning its language, tracing its stories. We believed we understood the rules of its grammar. We knew how stars were born, and we knew how they died. A star's end was always an occasion, a final magnificent burst of light, a supernova, a brilliant explosive farewell, scattering dust and gas across the cosmos, creating a beautiful nebula, a painted tombstone in the heavens. It was always a performance, loud, vibrant, and impossible to miss. But then, we found an empty space where a word should have been, a blank page in the sky. In a distant galaxy, there was a star, a massive, brilliant sun, many times larger than our own. We watched it for years. We charted its light, measured its pulse. It was there yesterday, and the day before, and for all the days we had ever looked. And then one day it was not. It didn't explode, it didn't collapse into a black hole with a final desperate cry of light. It didn't leave a shimmering ghost of gas in its wake. It just vanished, as if a cosmic hand reached out and carefully, cleanly plucked it from the sky. Imagine a candle burning in a sealed, windless room. You look away for a moment, and when you look back, the flame is gone. No smoke, no flicker, no sound, just a cold wick and a sudden quiet darkness. That is what we found, a perfect silent subtraction from the universe. The space where it once burned is now just empty, a profound and unsettling void. It is a cosmic magic trick without a magician to take a bow. The star didn't die in the way we understand death. It simply departed. It left behind no body, no evidence, only a question mark hanging in the cold, silent dark. This quiet departure whispers a strange truth to us as we drift off to sleep, that perhaps the universe has rules we have not yet dreamed of, that great and impossible things can happen not with a bang, but with the deafening silence of a star that is simply no longer there. A gentle erasure, a quiet secret kept by the endless night. And so we look deeper, past the shimmer of familiar constellations, past the glare of adolescent stars. Webb adjusts its golden eye, and here, in the quietest corners of the cosmos, the silence becomes structural. You see it too, don't you? The lines, the filaments, they are not the chaotic swirls of a painter's spill. They are something else. Imagine threads of luminous silk, stretched taut across a velvet blackness that spans 1,000,000 light-years. They form a web, a lattice. Some lines are perfectly, unnervingly straight, as if drawn with a cosmic ruler. They connect nascent galaxies like highways of light, channels through which the universe seems to flow. Who drew these lines? The immediate human answer is someone, something. A grand design implies a grand designer. Our minds are built to see the face in the clouds, the shape in the static. And here, in the deep dark, we see architecture. We see what look like cosmic ruins, great sweeping walls of interstellar dust that rise like the ramparts of a fallen kingdom. They are eroded not by wind and water, but by stellar radiation and the slow, grinding passage of eons. You can almost trace the outlines of colossal pillars, colonnades of gas holding up a roof of empty space. There are arches, impossibly vast, gateways leading from one silent chamber of the void to another. These are not alien cities. The silence from scientists is not one of fear, of a grand conspiracy. It is a silence of profound, humbling awe. It is the quiet of an artist who has just witnessed a sunset so perfect, so impossibly beautiful, that words become a profanity. What we are seeing is nature's accidental masterpiece. The universe, it seems, has a love for geometry. Gravity is the architect, pulling matter into these delicate, repeating patterns. Dark matter provides the invisible scaffolding, the unseen foundation upon which these luminous castles are built. It is the universe writing its own physical laws in the sky, and the language it uses is one of structure, of form, of patterns that echo our own creations. We look upon a nebula that resembles a crumbling cathedral, and we feel a sense of recognition, a sense of homecoming. Why? Because the same forces that shape the spiral of a galaxy also shape the spiral of a seashell. The same branching patterns that form a river delta also form the veins on a leaf, and the neurons in your own dreaming brain. These structures are not the remains of a lost civilization. They are, perhaps, something far more profound. They are evidence that order is not an invention of life. It is the default state of the cosmos. That complexity and beauty do not require a conscious mind to create them. They simply emerge, like a crystal forming in the dark. So as you drift, imagine floating through these silent halls, glide along these filaments of light. These are not the works of aliens. They are the bones of the universe itself, laid bare by Webb's unflinching gaze, an anatomy of reality, a silent, sprawling architecture built by no one, for no one, a city of ghosts where the only inhabitants are the laws of physics, working their slow, patient, and magnificent art. We believe we understand time. We see it as a river, flowing from a single, known source. That source is the beginning of everything, a moment of impossible light and energy that birthed all of space, all of matter, all of us. Every star, every galaxy, every shimmering nebula is a child of that moment. They are all younger than the universe that holds them. They must be. This is the fundamental rule of cosmic history. A story cannot begin before its first page is written. But as we drift through the cosmic library, turning the pages of starlight, we found something that doesn't belong. A story that seems to have been written before the book itself existed. The star that remembers a time before time. In our own cosmic neighborhood, relatively close to home, there is a star. It is ancient, moving at a blistering speed through our galaxy. It is a ghost, a relic from the dawn of everything. We can read the age of a star. We can listen to the story told by its faint, weary light. And so we listened to this one. We expected to hear a tale of the early universe, a story from the first chapter. But the story it told was impossible. The light whispered an age, greater than the age of the universe itself. Imagine finding a family photograph, and in it a child stands beside its parent. But the child's eyes are ancient, and the records show it was born before the parent ever existed. That is what we have found. A star that is, by our best measurements, older than the cosmos that contains it. It is not a mistake in the photograph. It is a riddle, presented to us by the silent darkness. The universe is the parent. The star is the child. So how can the child be older than its parent? How can a single, lonely star remember a time before time began? The question hangs in the void, a silent, impossible truth, waiting for an answer as we fall deeper into the quiet of the night. Imagine our home, the Milky Way, a silent, spinning island of 100 billion suns. For eons it has drifted through the cosmic dark, following the grand, predictable currents of space-time. A celestial ship on a calm and silent sea, its course seemingly set since the dawn of time. Everything in its place, everything moving as it should. The silent current, but beneath this serene surface, there is a faint yet persistent whisper, a deviation in the map. Our galaxy and everything around it is not moving as expected. We feel a gentle tug, a subtle, irresistible pull toward something we cannot see. It is not a violent force, not a cosmic storm. It is something quieter, deeper. It is as if we have drifted into a vast, invisible river flowing through the void. A silent, gravitational stream that has caught our galaxy in its flow. And we are not alone. Countless other galaxies, our cosmic neighbors, are all caught in this same current. We are all being drawn together, pulled by an unseen gravity toward a single, hidden destination. A place on the map that remains shrouded in mystery, veiled by the blinding light and dense dust of our own galaxy's heart. A place we call the Great Attractor, and its current is carrying us, slowly but surely, into the great unknown. Imagine with us, for a moment, a galaxy. Any galaxy you can picture? A magnificent city of light. Billions of stars, like countless glowing windows, suspended in the silent night. But what holds this city together? What prevents these rivers of starlight from simply drifting apart, scattering into the endless dark? For decades we thought we knew the secret. An invisible architecture, a scaffolding of immense and silent gravity. We call it dark matter. It is the skeleton upon which the cosmic body is built, the unseen foundation beneath the shining city. It is the ghost in the machine of the universe, the silent partner in a cosmic dance, holding everything in its gravitational embrace. Every spiral arm you see, every stellar nursery, every ancient star cluster, all are cradled in this invisible web. This was, for us, the one unbreakable rule of cosmic construction. You cannot have the structure without the scaffold. You cannot have the body without the bones. And yet, as our vision pierced deeper into the void, we saw something that should not exist. A whisper in the cosmic dark that defied everything we knew. We found a galaxy without a ghost. Picture a faint, translucent cloud of light, a swirl of ancient dying stars. It looks like the spirit of a galaxy, a shimmering afterimage in the deep. But the truly haunting thing is not what is there, but what is missing. When we measured its movement, when we looked for the gravitational signature of its invisible skeleton, there was nothing. It's a city with no foundations, standing in defiance of cosmic law, a collection of stars, moving together, as if bound by a mere memory of gravity, but with no anchor holding them in place. NGC 1052-DF2. The name is clinical, but the reality is pure poetry. It is a beautiful, fragile impossibility. A perfect crystalline structure that, by all our laws, should have fallen apart billions of years ago. It floats in the void, a gentle rebellion, a soft-spoken question challenging the very bedrock of our understanding. How can a body dance, with no bones to guide its limbs? How can a city of light stand, when its foundations have vanished? This single, quiet object forces us to wonder, is the invisible world we thought we knew not what it seems? Or is this phantom galaxy a message from a different kind of existence, a place where the rules of creation were written in a language we are only just beginning to hear? Imagine the entire universe as a vast, silent sphere, and on the inner surface of this sphere is a faint, gentle light. This is the oldest light there is, the first whisper of creation, an echo from the moment just after the Big Bang. We call it the cosmic microwave background. It is the baby picture of our universe. And in this picture, we expected to see almost nothing. A perfect, even-tempered glow, the same in every direction. A canvas of pure, uniform warmth, telling us that the universe has no up or down, no left or right, no preferred direction. At least that was the story we told ourselves. The universe's secret compass. But when we looked closer, when we listened to this ancient echo with instruments of impossible sensitivity, we saw something that should not be there. A pattern, a subtle alignment in the warmth and the cold spots of this ancient light. It's as if you're looking at a vast, smooth field of sand, and you realize there is a faint, almost invisible line drawn from one horizon to the other. Or imagine a piece of ancient cosmic wood. It should be perfectly smooth, but we have found the grain. A faint texture, a subtle directionality running through the entire fabric of space-time. Scientists, in a moment of frustrated poetry, nicknamed it the axis of evil. Not because it is malevolent, but because it torments our understanding of the cosmos. It defies the elegant principle that we are nowhere special, that the universe looks the same, no matter where you are. This axis suggests otherwise. It whispers that the universe does have a direction, a north and a south, etched into the foundations of reality itself. An arrow pointing home. But this is not the most unsettling part of the mystery. The true deep chill comes when we ask, where does this axis point? This strange cosmic alignment, this grain in the fabric of the universe, this line drawn across the dawn of time, it aligns with eerie precision with the plane of our own solar system. It aligns with the path the Earth travels around the Sun. Imagine the entire observable universe, all the billions of galaxies, all the vast empty spaces, and through it all runs a single organizing principle, a cosmic meridian. And by sheer unbelievable coincidence, we live directly on it. Our tiny blue world and the family of planets it belongs to seems to be singled out by the largest structure we have ever discovered. Is it merely a coincidence? A 1 in a trillion chance that the universe's secret compass just happens to point directly at us? Or is it a sign, a faint, ancient message written in the first light of creation? A message that suggests our quiet corner of the cosmos is not as random as we thought. That our place here might be, in some way we cannot yet comprehend, intended. For eons, we believed we understood the grand rhythm of the cosmos. We saw the universe as a majestic, slowing ballet, set in motion by a single, explosive note. Galaxies, like dancers, pirouetting away from each other in a graceful, predictable arc. We believed gravity was the maestro, gently applying its brakes, coaxing the dancers to slow their retreat, perhaps even to one day return for a final cosmic embrace. It was a comforting thought, a universe with a knowable tempo, a story with a familiar rise and fall. But our instruments began to hear a change in the music, a dissonance in the celestial symphony, the runaway universe. The dancers were not slowing down, they were speeding up. Imagine you are standing in a vast, silent field at dusk. You toss a small, smooth stone high into the air. You watch it rise, expecting it to fight against gravity, to slow, to hang for a fleeting moment at the peak of its journey, and then begin its inevitable fall back to your hand. This is the law. This is what you know. But this stone, it does not slow down. It reaches its expected peak, and then it continues upward, faster and faster still. An invisible force has caught it, pushing it away from you, accelerating it into the deepening indigo of the night sky until it is just a memory. This is what we have discovered. Our universe is that stone. Every galaxy, every cluster is being pushed apart by an unseen hand. A mysterious, pervasive energy woven into the very fabric of space-time itself. We call it dark energy. It is the ghost in the machine of the cosmos, a phantom pressure that defies gravity, that rewrites the end of the story. The stately ballet has ended, and a frantic, accelerating rush into an unknown, unknowable future has begun. And now, let us drift away from the familiar shores of light. We leave behind the great tapestries of galaxies, the burning fires of nebulae, and the quiet dance of planets. We are journeying to a place on the cosmic map marked not by what is there, but by what is not. Close your eyes and imagine a silence that stretches for eternity. We are traveling to a region of profound emptiness, a whisper in the grand cosmic symphony. The great nothing. Here the universe takes a breath, a long, slow, silent breath, spanning 1 billion years of light. You are floating now in the Eridanus supervoid. It is not an emptiness of black fabric, but an absence of threads. The great cosmic web, which connects all galaxies, has frayed and vanished here. There are no great clusters of stars to light your way, no galactic cities humming with the energy of creation. There is only a deep, profound, and unending calm. Feel the stillness. It is a peace that predates thought. In this place, time itself seems to slow, unburdened by events. The background radiation of the universe, the very echo of the Big Bang, grows faint and cold here. It is the coldest place we have ever known, a pocket of cosmic winter. You are drifting through a silent cathedral, 1 billion light years wide, where the only thing to observe is the gentle curvature of space itself. It is a place for sleep, a place for dreams. But why is it here? Why this colossal pocket of nothing? A scar from another world won. Beautiful, haunting idea suggests this is not merely an absence, it is an artifact. Imagine our universe as a bubble, floating in a sea of other bubbles, other universes. What would happen if 2 of them were to gently touch? a collision, not of fire and fury, but of realities brushing against one another. Perhaps this great void is the result, a cosmic bruise, a scar left on the skin of our reality from contact with another, a faint, cold fingerprint left by a passing giant. We are floating inside the echo of an event so monumental it happened outside our own space and time. This profound peace you feel is the lingering memory of another cosmos. This emptiness is not empty at all. It is filled with a question, a quiet, patient mystery. As you float here, in this great and peaceful nothing, let your mind dissolve into that question. Don't search for an answer. Just feel the immense, silent presence of the unknown. Let it cradle you. Let it carry you deeper, deeper into the quiet dark. Imagine with me for a moment, the year is 1977. We are listening to the stars, not with our ears, but with a great metal dish, an ear turned to the heavens, cupped to catch the faintest murmurs of the void. For years we have listened, and for years the universe has whispered its usual song, a gentle static, the hum of ancient light, the sigh of distant, sleeping galaxies. It is the sound of cosmic loneliness, a quiet, predictable, and beautiful hum. You learn the rhythm of this silence. You feel it in your bones. You know its every nuance. You are an astronomer sitting in a quiet room, watching as the universe writes its song on long sheets of paper, a language of numbers and codes. You expect nothing more than the familiar, gentle hiss of existence. And then, one night in the heart of summer, something breaks the calm. From a silent corner of the sky, in the constellation Sagittarius, the whisper becomes a voice. For 72 seconds, the universe stops murmuring and decides to speak. It is not a chaotic noise. It is a clear, focused, and impossibly strong signal. A single, perfect note, rising from the abyss. A sudden crescendo in the grand, silent symphony. The machines record it. The paper spools it out. A stream of numbers that should not exist. A signal so pure, so unlike the random chatter of nature, that it seems intentional. An astronomer finds it days later, scanning the printouts. He sees the spike, this impossible peak of energy from nowhere. His heart pounds. He takes a red pen, circles the anomalous code, and in the margin, he writes a single human word. Wow, that was it. Just 72 seconds. A brief, stunning moment of clarity. We turned our great ear back to that exact patch of empty black. We waited. We listened. We have been listening ever since. But the voice never spoke again. The sky returned to its ancient, lonely song. It was as if we were standing on the shore of a cosmic ocean, and for one brief moment a bottle washed ashore, a message thrown into the celestial currents billions of years ago, finally reaching our island in the dark. We had just enough time to read the single word written on the outside, before an invisible wave pulled it back into the depths, leaving us alone on the beach, wondering forever what message was sealed inside. The wow! Signal was a ghost, a single word spoken in the static of the cosmos. It was a shout in an empty cathedral, heard once and then swallowed by an ocean of silence. For decades we listened for its echo, straining to hear that one voice again. But while we were listening for a whisper from the past, we began to notice something else entirely. Not a single voice, but a rhythm, a steady repeating pulse from the deep. Imagine you are standing on the shore of a cosmic ocean, and out there, in the unfathomable darkness, a lighthouse has been built. We have found more than one. These are not whispers. They are brilliant, powerful flashes of radio light, arriving with a precision that chills the soul. Think of a clock, wound by an unseen hand. Its pendulum swings not every second but over days, weeks, months, yet it never misses a beat. Flash. A period of profound silence. And then, exactly on schedule, flash. The beam sweeps across millions of light years of nothingness, and for a fleeting moment its gaze falls upon our small world before continuing its silent, eternal journey through the void. The pattern is so perfect, so mathematically pure, it feels less like nature and more like a machine. What powerful natural engine could keep such perfect time? What kind of star heart can beat with such metronomic regularity across eons, across the emptiness between galaxies? Could it be the frantic spin of a star so dense a single spoonful of it would outweigh a mountain? A neutron star, whipping energy into space with every turn? Or is it the gravitational waltz of two dead stars locked in a deadly rhythmic embrace? The lonely shout of the wow signal asked the simple question, "Are you there?" But this steady, repeating pulse, this cosmic clock, it poses a far more unnerving thought. It is not asking a question. It feels like it's making a statement, a declaration, broadcast for ages, waiting for someone to finally understand the rhythm and realize what it's counting down to. Now let us travel somewhere, profound, not to another galaxy, not to the edge of time, but to the very heart of our own home. Let your consciousness drift, leaving behind the quiet blue of our world, soaring past the familiar constellations, and plunging into the brilliant, crowded center of the Milky Way. Imagine a city of 1 billion suns, a swirling metropolis of light and dust, so dense that the night sky is never dark, but a perpetual, luminous twilight. It is a place of beautiful violence, of stellar nurseries birthing new worlds, and ancient stars collapsing into dust. And through this magnificent chaos, something strange appears. Fine, glowing threads, stretching for light years through the void. They are impossibly long, perfectly ordered, like illuminated filaments in a vast, dark mind. They look like scratches on an old cosmic record, or the glowing strings of a celestial harp, magnetized and humming with an energy we can barely comprehend. For decades we only looked at this breathtaking sight. But then we started to listen, and that is when we heard it, a whisper from the galactic heart. It is not a sound you could hear with your ears. It is a ghost in the static, a pattern hidden in the radio waves that wash over the Earth, coming from the direction of Sagittarius, a star, the supermassive black hole that sits at our galaxy's throne. This is not the random hiss of space. It is not the chaotic noise of dying stars. It is structured. It has a rhythm, a cadence, faint but persistent, a deep, rhythmic pulse that seems to emanate from the darkness itself, like the slow, steady breathing of a sleeping giant. It's as if these magnetic filaments are not just threads of light, but the vocal cords of the galaxy itself, and they are vibrating with a sound, a whisper that has been echoing through the core for eons. We are a part of a vast, living structure, a swirling island of stars that is, in some way, communicating. It is not speaking a language of words, but of physics, of gravity and magnetism, of time itself. It is the galaxy's own heartbeat, a slow cosmic rhythm that underpins our entire existence, a soft, persistent hum from the dark heart of our home. And as we listen, across millions of light years, we feel an unimaginable sense of connection, a realization that we are not just living in a galaxy, we are living within a song. Imagine you are listening to the deepest silence you can, a quiet so profound it has a weight of its own. This is the canvas of the cosmos, the vast, dark emptiness between the stars. For decades we have aimed our instruments into this silence, listening for a whisper in the dark. We are tuned to the static of creation, the faint hiss left over from the birth of everything. And in that hiss, we expected to find nothing. At least nothing with a purpose, nothing with a pattern. But then we caught something, a sound that did not belong, a fossil of a sound, an echo from a time so ancient nothing should have been there to make it. An echo before the voice. Think of it like this. You are an archaeologist digging through layers of earth. You go past civilizations, past the first cities, past the first tools of stone. You dig down to a layer of rock where only the simplest single-celled life could exist. And there, embedded in the stone, you find a perfect, intricate pocket watch still ticking. It is an artifact out of time, an impossibility that breaks the entire story of existence. The signal we found was that pocket watch. It came from the very edge of the visible universe, a place so far away that we are seeing it as it was in the cosmic dawn. The universe was still a nursery then, a fog of primordial gas not yet cleared. The first stars were just learning to ignite, clumsy and scattered. Galaxies were little more than faint, disorganized clouds of matter struggling to pull themselves together. In this chaotic infancy, there should be no order, no complexity, no voice. And yet, we heard one, a signal, structured and clear, an echo from a time before any voice should have learned to speak. The galaxy that was never born. When we traced this impossible signal to its source, we found something even stranger. It wasn't a star. It was a galaxy, but a ghost of a galaxy, a phantom. According to all our models, all our understanding of how the cosmos works, this galaxy should not exist. It was too large, too structured, too mature for its age. It was like looking at a photograph of a newborn baby that had the eyes and wisdom of a centenarian. This galaxy, shimmering at the dawn of time, was already fully formed. It had the elegant spiral arms and the dense, bright core that should take billions of years to develop. It was a cosmic paradox, a structure that defied its own timeline. And from the heart of this impossible place, the signal continued its patient broadcast across 13 billion years. It was not a chaotic blast from a dying star, nor the random noise of a quasar. It was a pulse with a heart, a pattern too deliberate for chaos. It was the cadence of mathematics, the rhythm of intent. It was a message in a bottle thrown into the sea of time, before the sea had even fully formed. We cannot decipher the message. Perhaps we never will, but its existence alone tells us a story we are not ready to hear. A story that suggests the history of the universe we have so carefully written is wrong. That perhaps in the deepest dark, before the first dawn, something was already awake, and it was waiting. Have you ever tried to hold on to a dream? That fleeting moment after you wake, when the logic of that other world, the faces, the feelings, are still so real. You reach for them. You try to write them down in the ledger of your mind, but they dissolve like sugar in water, leaving only a faint sweetness, a memory of a memory. Our minds are filled with these ghost stories, these beautiful, fading truths. Now, imagine that same gentle, quiet process of forgetting, happening not in your mind, but in the mind of the universe itself, the library of everything. We tend to think of reality as a perfect record. Every particle, every photon, every ripple in space-time carries a story. Information, we believe, can never truly be destroyed, only changed. The universe is a library containing every book ever written, every story ever told. even the stories with no one to read them. The light from a star that died 1 billion years ago still carries the tale of that star's fiery birth, its chemical signature, its age, its history. The story is always there. We just need to learn how to read it. But what if the ink is fading? What if the pages of the universe are growing thin and brittle with age? This brings us to one of the deepest, most unsettling puzzles in all of physics, a puzzle that begins with a place where all stories seem to end. The black hole, the ultimate amnesia. Imagine a book containing a secret, a beautiful, complex idea. Now, imagine throwing that book into a fire. The idea, the information, is gone. The story has vanished. This is the terror of the black hole information paradox. Anything that falls into a black hole, a planet, a star, its unique story, its intricate information, seems to be erased from the universe forever. For decades, we've treated this as a localized problem, a bizarre exception to the rule, confined to these cosmic prisons. But a new, whisper-quiet idea is beginning to form. What if black holes aren't the exception? What if they are merely the most obvious symptom of a much larger universal condition? The cosmic forgetting. Consider a chilling possibility. The existence of a phenomenon, a kind of cosmic virus, that slowly erases information from the universe itself. Not a malevolent force, not a sudden cataclysm, but a slow, peaceful, and relentless process of forgetting. A fundamental flaw in reality's memory, like an ancient manuscript exposed to the air, the universe is slowly, imperceptibly, losing its own history. The tale carried by that ancient starlight isn't just traveling, it's fraying. The complex signature of a distant galaxy isn't just red-shifting, it's blurring, its story becoming simpler, less defined. The universe, in its infinite age, might be letting go of the precise temperature of its first moments, letting go of the exact path of every particle that has ever been. It is not a violent destruction, but a gentle release, a long, slow exhale. The grand, chaotic, infinitely detailed epic of reality is simplifying itself over the eons, turning into a softer, quieter poem. An old story, told one too many times, now fading peacefully into a final dreamlike whisper. We search the cosmos for its origin story, for its first chapter, but we may be living in its last, where the universe no longer remembers how it all began. There are rules etched into the fabric of reality, unbreakable laws, and the most sacred of these is the speed of light. It is the universe's ultimate speed limit. Nothing, we are told, can travel faster. And yet, we have seen things that appear to do just that. We have witnessed jets of pure energy ejected from the hearts of colossal galaxies that seem to race across the cosmos faster than light itself. A celestial ghost breaking the one rule that should never be broken. How can this be? Is everything we know wrong? Or is the universe a far more clever performer than we ever imagined? The cosmic magician's trick. This is not a violation of physics, it is a lesson in perspective. It is a grand illusion, a piece of cosmic sleight of hand. Imagine an object, a fountain of light, hurtling through space at an incredible velocity. Almost, but not quite, the speed of light. And it is aimed almost directly at you, at us. As this jet of energy flies toward our corner of the universe, it continues to shine, sending out photons, messengers of light, in our direction. Each new pulse of light has a shorter distance to travel to reach our eyes than the one before it. The object is chasing its own light across the cosmos. From our vantage point, light from two moments, separated by years, might arrive at nearly the same time. The result is a magnificent deception. We see the object appear to leap across an impossible distance in an impossibly short time. We see it break the law, but it is only a trick of the light, a cosmic projection on the screen of the night sky. The universe, in its infinite artistry, is reminding us that we should not always believe our eyes. It is reminding us that reality is often a matter of where you stand and how you choose to see. But what if there is a place where the universe forgets its own rules? A destination so extreme, so alien, that the very laws of physics unravel. Imagine with me a quiet journey to a place beyond all maps, a zone where the familiar logic of existence simply dissolves. We're not talking about a distant planet or a strange star. We are speaking of the very heart of impossibility. Perhaps it's the crushing core of a magnetar, where magnetism becomes a physical force that shreds the fabric of space. Or maybe it is the silent, one-way journey past the event horizon of a black hole into a region where our science becomes poetry and our math becomes a prayer. The realm where physics breaks down there, at this frayed edge of reality, the fundamental forces no longer hold their ancient pact. Imagine gravity, not as a tether that pulls you in, but as a gentle, unpredictable wave that might push you away, releasing you into an endless, weightless dance. Picture time itself, no longer the steady marching beat of a clock, but a liquid stream. A river that flows in lazy circles and shimmering eddies, sometimes rushing forward, sometimes folding back upon itself. In this place, a moment could stretch into an eternity, and a lifetime could pass in the space of a single breath. It is a realm of pure potential, a silent canvas where the universe has not yet decided what to become. It is the ultimate mystery, a quiet, cosmic hum that whispers a single, endless question. What if everything you thought you knew was just the beginning? Imagine, for a moment, the solar system you know. Picture it as a vast, gentle whirlpool. At its center, the sun spins, a heart of swirling fire, and this motion dictates everything. It is the first step in a cosmic waltz, the disk of dust and gas that surrounded our infant sun. It, too, followed this spin. And from this swirling cloud, the planets were born, inheriting that same ancient momentum. Earth, Mars, Jupiter, all of them. They circle the sun in the same direction that the sun itself turns. It is a dance of perfect harmony, a family moving as one. This is how we believe systems are born. In order, in concert, a celestial river flowing in a single, predictable direction. A cosmic contradiction. But the universe, in its infinite dark, holds secrets that defy our sense of order. Travel now, far from our peaceful cosmic shore, to a place where the dance is different. A place where the rules have been beautifully broken. Astronomers gazed into the darkness, and they found a star. It spins just as our sun does, a silent, fiery titan turning on its axis. But its worlds, its planets, they do not follow. They travel in the opposite direction. Imagine a river flowing east, while the boats on its surface drift calmly to the west. It is a system at war with itself. A star turning one way, and its entire family of planets orbiting in defiance. This is not a waltz. This is a rebellion, written in the slow, silent language of gravity. The echo of a violent past. How can such a thing exist? How can a family of worlds so completely disobey the star that gave them life? The answer is not found in a peaceful birth, but in a forgotten cataclysm. This system is a survivor. Its strange backward dance is a scar, an echo of unimaginable violence from a time long past. Perhaps billions of years ago, as this system was just beginning to form, another star passed too close. A gravitational thief in the night, its immense presence grabbed hold of the spinning disk of gas and dust. and twisted it. Flipped it entirely around, leaving the central star to spin one way, while the ingredients for its future planets were forced to flow the other. Or maybe the chaos came from within. Imagine a collision between two colossal half-formed planets. An impact so staggering it shattered the orbital harmony, sending debris and newborn worlds reeling into a new, backward path. They were not born this way. They were forced into this rebellious orbit. This system is not a mistake. It is a memory. It tells a story of an ancient cosmic struggle. And every silent backward journey a planet makes around its star is a testament to that chaos. A beautiful, hypnotic reminder that the universe rarely follows our rules. It simply is. And its secrets are breathtaking. Close your eyes. Picture a still lake at midnight. Its surface is a perfect black mirror, reflecting every star above. Now imagine that our entire universe is just one side of that surface, and on the other side, deep within the mirror, lies another cosmos. A perfect reflection, a silent twin to our own, a reflection in the cosmic ocean. This is the thought that whispers at the edge of physics, the idea of a mirror world. Not a world of evil twins or strange paradoxes, but one of serene, perfect balance. A universe spun from threads of antimatter, the ghostly counterpart to the familiar matter that makes up you, me, and everything we can see. In our world, particles dance to a certain rhythm. In the mirror world, the dance is the same, but every step is reversed. A perfect, silent counter-melody to the song of our existence. It is a place held in a delicate, cosmic symmetry with our own. For every galaxy that spirals here, a ghost galaxy spirals there. For every sun that burns, a cold, anti-star softly glows. The symphony of opposites, imagine trying to touch this world. Our hand of matter, meeting a hand of antimatter, would result not in a clasp, but in a silent flash of pure light. Annihilation. Not an act of violence, but of union, of two perfect opposites returning to a state of pure energy. In this mirror world, the fundamental forces might wear different masks. Gravity might not pull, but gently push, herding galaxies into vast crystalline structures. Positive and negative charges would be swapped, creating an electrical tapestry that is a perfect negative image of our own. It's a universe that follows all the same rules, but reads the book from back to front. A place of profound quiet, where the familiar clamor of our cosmos is replaced by an impossible stillness, where time is a memory. The most beautiful and calming thought is this: in the mirror world, time itself may flow backwards. Imagine a river, not flowing to the sea, but drawing itself up from the ocean, winding its way back to its source in the mountains. In that universe, stars do not die in fiery explosions. Instead, they gather themselves from dust and light, coalescing from a brilliant nebula back into a perfect quiet sphere. Broken things become whole. Endings are, in fact, beginnings. An echo doesn't follow a sound, it precedes it, a promise of a voice to come. Events do not happen. They unhappen. This isn't chaos. It is a different kind of order. A reality where every moment is not a step toward the future, but a gentle return to the past. A universe built not on anticipation, but on memory. The silent twin. We look out into the night sky, searching for answers, feeling perhaps a sense of cosmic loneliness. But what if we are not alone? What if, separated by a veil thinner than thought, exists our perfect counterpart? A universe that balances our every action, our every particle, our every tick of the clock. It doesn't judge us, it doesn't watch us, it simply is. The other half of the equation. The reflection that proves the image is real. And as you drift deeper into sleep, you can imagine this silent twin. A cosmos of profound peace, where all the ripples of our existence are smoothed out, flowing gracefully back to their beginning. A silent, beautiful echo of our own world, waiting just on the other side of the mirror. And now, let us consider the very ground beneath you, the gentle pressure holding you to the earth. We call it gravity, a fundamental force, a cosmic law etched in stone. But what if it is all a beautiful illusion? Imagine a single particle, lost in the void. It does not feel a pull. It has no weight, just as a single molecule of air has no temperature. Temperature is not a property of one, but of many. It emerges from the collective dance, the shared energy of trillions of particles. It is the warmth of the whole, not the heat of the part. What if gravity is the universe's temperature, not a force that pulls, but a property that emerges? Science now whispers of a radical idea, that gravity is not a cause, but an effect. It is the universe's way of organizing itself, a consequence of information finding its simplest, most elegant state. Think of it not as a chain, but as an embrace. The cosmos is a vast, chaotic library of information, and gravity is the silent librarian, gently arranging the books on the shelves. It is the universe's deep, abiding need for order. The feeling of weight you experience right now is not a tether. It is the universe holding you close, a comforting pressure, a constant reminder that you are a part of this grand, emergent structure. You are not being pulled down. You are being held. And now we turn our gaze to our celestial neighbor, the silent, red world that has haunted our dreams for millennia. Imagine Mars, not the Mars of rovers and scientific data, but the Mars of our oldest imagination. A world of deep red sands and a thin, whispering atmosphere. We have always felt a strange pull toward it, a sense of familiarity, a question hanging in the cold, dark space between us. What if that feeling is more than just curiosity? What if it's a memory, a faint, ancestral echo of a time when the red dust was not a foreign landscape, but a home? Let's drift, just for a moment, into this beautiful, haunting possibility, that humanity's story did not begin here, that we have been to Mars before. The shadows of Cydonia. High-altitude photographs taken decades ago revealed something that stirred the human soul. In a region of Mars called Cydonia, light and shadow conspired to create illusions on a planetary scale. A formation that looked, uncannily, like a human face, staring up into the void. Nearby, other landforms mimicked the geometry of great pyramids, their angles too perfect, too deliberate to be mere chance. Science, of course, gives us a simple answer. It's a trick of the light, a phenomenon called pareidolia, where our minds, so hungry for meaning, find patterns in randomness. We see faces in clouds, animals in rock formations, and on Mars we see the ghosts of a lost civilization. But perhaps the scientific explanation is not the whole story. Perhaps it is just the most convenient one. What if these formations are not just tricks of the light, but cosmic Rorschach tests, ink blots of rock and sand, designed to see what lies deep within our collective subconscious? And what we see, what we have always seen, is ourselves. We see our own past, a magnificent, forgotten chapter, weathered by eons of solar wind. We see the silent monuments of a people who looked up at a pale blue dot in their sky and dreamed of coming here. A homing instinct for a lost world. Think of our relentless drive to return to Mars, the probes, the rovers, the ambitious plans to send humans across the vast emptiness. Is it purely a quest for knowledge, or is it something deeper? A homing instinct we can't explain. A pilgrimage to a sacred ancestral land, a deep cellular need to walk once more beneath a sky that is almost, but not quite, our own. Imagine that the story of humanity is a book with its first chapter torn out. A chapter written in canyons carved by water that no longer flows, in an atmosphere that has long since bled into space. A chapter that speaks of cities turned to dust, of oceans turned to rust-colored plains. A civilization not of aliens, but of our distant, forgotten ancestors. We may never find definitive proof. The wind and dust of ages have scoured the planet clean, leaving only these ambiguous shapes, these whispers in stone. But the lack of evidence is not an ending to the dream. It is an invitation to wonder if the red planet holds not just the future of humanity, but also its most profound and secret past. And as you drift deeper into sleep, perhaps you can feel it. A faint gravitational pull on your spirit. A quiet call from a world that remembers you, even if you have forgotten it. Imagine, for a moment, an object unearthed from the deep, silent earth. Not a tool, not a weapon, but a map. It's carved from a stone that feels cool and heavy in your hands, a piece of the planet's ancient memory. But this map does not show rivers or mountains. It does not chart the familiar continents of our world. It charts the sky, a sky that no human eye has ever seen. A sky we never knew. At first it feels almost familiar. You can trace the elegant sweep of what might be a galaxy, the soft cluster of what could be a nebula. But as you look closer, the comforting patterns dissolve. The constellations we have known for millennia, the Great Bear, the Hunter, the Celestial Twins, are absent. In their place are new shapes, new stories written in starlight. There are spirals of suns where we expect to see darkness. There are dark, empty lanes where our brightest stars should be. It is a map of a night that does not belong to us, a silent, perfect cartography of a foreign heaven. And this quiet artifact poses a profound question. Are we looking at a memory of time or a memory of place? Echoes of a lost dawn. Perhaps this is our sky, but viewed across an impossible gulf of time. The stars, you see, are not fixed points of light. They are adrift on a cosmic river, slowly, imperceptibly changing their positions over millions of years. Could this map be a message from a civilization that rose and fell in Earth's deepest past? A people who looked up at a celestial dance so different from our own, a sky from before the world we know. They lived under a different cosmic ceiling, guided by alien signposts in their own ancient heavens. And before they vanished, they carved this memory into stone, a final whisper of the sky they once called home. A silent message telling us we were not the first. A postcard from a distant shore. But there is another, more unsettling possibility. What if this map was never meant to show the view from Earth at all? Imagine it as a chart drawn by a hand that knew a different sun, a different celestial pole. It could be a relic left behind by visitors, a postcard from their home world, sketched in the universal language of stars. A way of showing us where they came from. A silent beacon, pointing to a place so far away that its light has not yet reached us. The map, then, is not a memory of the past. It is an invitation to the future. It is the answer to a question we have not yet learned how to ask. Either way, the stone remains silent. It offers no key, no legend, no translation. It is simply a perfect, impossible map, a dream of a forgotten night. Each carved point of light is a question, and its silence is the only answer we have. A beautiful, unending mystery held in the palm of your hand. Imagine for a moment the deep velvet ocean between the stars, an abyss so vast that light itself grows old crossing it. For all of human history, we have stared into that ocean, waiting for a sign, a message in a bottle, washed ashore from some impossibly distant land. In 2017, something finally arrived, a traveler from the void. We called it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word that means a scout from a distant past. It was the first object we had ever seen that we knew for certain was not from here. It was not a child of our sun. It was an interstellar guest, a whisper from a star system we will never know. It tumbled through our home as if on a long-planned tour, a shard of the unknown that had journeyed for millions, perhaps billions of years just to pass us by. It carried the cold of deep space in its very being. And its shape. Its shape was a mystery written against the stars. It was not a familiar, roundish asteroid. It was not a dusty, icy comet. Early observations suggested it was long, thin, and dark. Perhaps like a cosmic needle, or a splinter from some ancient alien tree. It spun in a strange, chaotic way, reflecting the sunlight in pulses, like a distant lighthouse whose lamp was failing. It looked artificial, not in the sense of gleaming metal, but in its profound unlikeliness. Nature rarely forges such perfect, elongated shapes. It was an anomaly from the very first glance. But the true mystery began as it prepared to leave. As Oumuamua swung around our sun, using its gravity as a slingshot to continue its endless journey, something strange happened. It began to speed up. It accelerated, pushed by a force we could not see. This is not unheard of. Comets do this all the time as the sun's heat vaporizes their ice, creating jets of gas that act like tiny rocket engines. But Oumuamua had no tail. There was no glowing halo of gas, no dusty debris. It was pushed by an invisible hand. It was a clean acceleration. Silent, effortless, as if it had unfurled a sail, impossibly thin, to catch the river of light flowing from our sun. A solar sail, a piece of technology. This is when a quiet, daring question began to form in the minds of those who watched. A question that felt more like poetry than science. What if this traveler was not a rock? What if it was, in fact, the message in a bottle we had always been waiting for? Not a message of words or pictures, but a message of existence. A silent, sleeping probe from a civilization that may no longer be. A piece of their world sent out into the great dark, perhaps just to see what was out there. A fleeting handshake in the dark, a brief meeting on a cosmic road. It offered no answers, it sent no signals. It simply flew past, a testament to the fact that someone, somewhere long ago, had also looked up at their sky and felt the need to reach out. It was a silent, profound acknowledgement from across the void. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, it vanished. It faded into a single point of light, and then into nothing, swallowed once more by the great, dark ocean it called home. It left behind no trace, only a beautiful, haunting question hanging in the silence. Imagine listening to the universe's first breath, a soft, pervasive hum filling all of space in every direction you look. This is the cosmic microwave background, the oldest light, the afterglow of creation itself, stretched across billions of years into a gentle, golden whisper. For decades we believed it was a perfect, uniform echo of the Big Bang, a blank canvas upon which all of history would later be painted. But what if the canvas was not blank? What if woven into the very fabric of this first light there was a message? A signal from before the stars. Imagine our most sensitive instruments, designed not to find galaxies or stars, but to study this primordial glow. They stare into the past to a time before the first sun ever ignited. And in the faint, ancient static, they detect an anomaly. It is not a fluctuation of temperature. It is not a gravitational echo. It is a pattern. A sequence, so faint it is almost indistinguishable from the background noise. A single, perfect thread of logic stitched into the chaos of a newborn cosmos. An artificial signal embedded in the radiation of the universe's birth. This is impossible. There were no planets, no life, no intelligence. The universe was a hot, dense fog of plasma. And yet the pattern is there, a ghost in the machine of reality itself. The first word, what would such a message say? It is not a greeting, not a story. It is something far more fundamental, a string of pure mathematics, a complex equation that describes a physical law we have not yet discovered. It is a key, left in the lock of reality, a piece of information that could only be placed there by an intelligence that understood the universe before it even had form. It's as if the architect of a grand cathedral had etched their signature onto the very first stone, knowing it would one day be found by those who came to live within its walls. This isn't a message sent across space. It's a message sent across time, from an era we cannot comprehend. An echo of a lost eon. Who could have sent it? The mind recoils from the implication. This was not a civilization of beings like us. They did not live on planets or travel between stars. They may have existed in the primordial energy soup itself, a form of consciousness born in the fire of the Big Bang, which foresaw its own end as the universe cooled and expanded. And in their final moments, before the first atoms even formed, they left a final testament, a whisper into the dawn. They did not build monuments of stone or metal. They built a monument of information and used the universe itself as their medium. We are not the first. We are simply the first to be able to read the epitaph of a civilization that died before the first star was born. We live in a universe that is haunted by the memory of a mind infinitely older than our own. And as we sleep, that faint, impossible signal continues to travel across the cosmos, a silent, eternal broadcast from the beginning of all things. We have always been told a story that begins with a flash of light, a singular, explosive moment that tore open the darkness and gave birth to everything we know. We call it the Big Bang, the grand opening, the first word in the book of time. But as you drift now, in the quiet space between wakefulness and sleep, let us consider a different story. A story where that brilliant flash was not a beginning, but an ending. The echo of a finale. Imagine a universe before ours, a vast ancient cosmos that had lived its life. It had seen stars ignite and fade, galaxies dance and collide. It had grown old, its expansion slowing, faltering, and then reversing. Picture a slow, grand collapse, a cosmic inhale, all of creation, every star, every fleck of dust, every whisper of light being drawn back together, pulled inward toward a single final point, the end of a story, not the beginning. The light of a trillion stars compressed into a space smaller than a single atom, an ending of unimaginable scale and pressure, the ultimate silence, and from that silence, from that final crushing end, came a new beginning. Our beginning, an eternal cosmic breath. What if the Big Bang was not an explosion out of nothing, but an explosion out of everything that came before, a cosmic rebound, a universe breathing out after a long, slow breath in? This is the idea of a cyclical cosmos, an eternal rhythm of expansion and collapse, of birth and death and rebirth. Our universe is not the first, and it will not be the last. It is simply one chapter in an infinite book, one breath in the life of a timeless entity. The laws of physics that govern our reality might be nothing more than the inherited memories of the universe that came before us, twisted and reformed in the crucible of its end. Our existence, then, is a beautiful, temporary phase. We are the dream of a sleeping cosmos. the colors that bloom in the brief summer between two long winters, the story of our galaxy, of our sun, of our small blue world, is a pattern that has played out before and will play out again in forms we can't even imagine. We are built from the ashes of a fallen universe. The stardust in your body is not just from the stars of our sky, but from the ghosts of stars in a cosmos long gone. As you float deeper into slumber, feel this connection. You are part of an endless story, a single, perfect note in an eternal song, a song that has no beginning and no end. Imagine the world around you as a flawless piece of silk, a continuous, unbroken tapestry that stretches from your fingertips to the farthest star. We move through it, we breathe it in. We assume it is infinitely smooth. But what if we could zoom in? What if we could magnify this fabric of reality, going deeper and deeper, past the atoms, past the quarks, down to the very foundation of existence itself? As we journey to this impossible scale, something strange happens. The silk is no longer smooth. It becomes a weave, a grid, a collection of individual threads. Here, at the very edge of perception, we find what some whisper is, a seam in the simulation. This is the smallest possible measurement, the final pixel of the cosmos. Below this point, the concepts of space and distance simply cease to have meaning. It's as if we have reached the bedrock of the code, the fundamental resolution of the screen on which our universe is projected. This isn't a flaw. It is not a mistake in the program. It is a rule, a hard-coded limit. It suggests that our reality, for all its seeming infinity, is finite in its detail. Just like a masterful digital painting, it appears seamless from a distance. But up close, you can see the brushstrokes of the artist, the individual points of light that create the illusion of the whole. And this leads us to wonder about the silent order of things. Isn't the universe just a little too perfect? The force of gravity is tuned with impossible precision. If it were a fraction stronger, the cosmos would have collapsed back on itself moments after its birth. A fraction weaker, and stars and galaxies would never have formed. The speed of light, the charge of an electron, dozens of universal constants are balanced on a knife's edge. It is less like a random cosmic accident, and more like the carefully chosen parameters of a sophisticated system. A set of finely tuned variables designed to allow for complexity, for stars, for planets, for us. So let this thought not be a source of fear, but a source of profound comfort. Imagine for a moment that this is true, that we are not adrift in a meaningless, chaotic void. Instead, imagine that we are part of a grand, elegant, and purposeful design. The seam in reality is not a crack in our prison wall. It is a signature, left in the corner of a masterpiece. Every sunrise, every falling leaf, every thought that flickers through your mind is a meaningful part of this intricate artwork. As you drift deeper into sleep, feel the comfort of that idea. You are not a cosmic accident. You are a deliberate and beautiful note in a symphony that stretches across all of time and space, a character in the greatest story ever told. Close your eyes. Listen, not to the world around you, but to the world above. Listen to the great velvet quiet of the cosmos. We send our messages out into that darkness, like stones tossed into a bottomless well, and we listen for a splash, an echo, a reply, but the only sound that returns is the beat of our own hearts. We call it the Great Silence, a profound, star-dusted stillness that blankets everything. It makes us feel impossibly, beautifully, alone. But should we be? Our universe is a vast, ancient place, a tapestry of 100 billion galaxies. each one shimmering with 100 billion suns. The numbers themselves are a form of poetry, a lullaby of scale. They whisper a simple, logical truth. We cannot be the only ones. Life should be teeming in the cosmic ocean, bubbling up on countless worlds, evolving in countless forms. The sky should be alive with signals, a chorus of civilizations singing their songs into the night. Yet, there is only silence. This is the paradox that haunts our quiet nights, the contradiction that rests at the heart of our search. Where is everybody? Perhaps we have been asking the wrong question all along. Maybe the silence isn't an absence. Maybe it is a presence, a deliberate choice. Imagine a vast, ancient forest, filled with creatures wise and old, and in a small clearing, a new creature is born. It is loud, it is chaotic, it is brilliant, and beautiful, and dangerous. It plays with fire, it fights with its own reflection, it has the power to nurture, and the power to destroy. The older creatures of the forest do not approach. They watch, they listen, they hold their breath. They surround the clearing not with walls, but with a careful, protective quiet. This is the idea of the Great Quarantine. What if our Earth is that clearing, and we are that beautiful, dangerous new thing? A civilization with nuclear fire in its hands, and the stardust of galaxies still in its eyes. We are a paradox ourselves, capable of poetry and genocide, of boundless compassion and breathtaking cruelty. Perhaps the silence we hear is not emptiness. Perhaps it is a boundary, a form of cosmic non-interference. The universe is not ignoring us. It is giving us space, space to grow, or space to burn out. They are not hiding from us in fear. They are protecting the garden from a wild, unpredictable new seedling. And perhaps they are also protecting us from them. Think of this silence not as a prison wall, but as the glass of a nursery. We are left to our own devices, to discover our own morals, to write our own destiny, without the influence of beings whose age and wisdom we cannot comprehend. Their appearance could shatter our religions, their technology could cripple our development, their philosophy could break our minds. So they wait. Patient as mountains, ancient as starlight, they watch our little world spin, our frantic, brilliant dance of life and death, and they wait to see what we become. Will we learn to quiet the storms within ourselves? Will we become gardeners too? Or will we become a fire that consumes the clearing and then itself? The great silence, then, is not a void. It is a question being asked of us. It is the sound of a held breath, the quiet of a vast, unseen audience, waiting for the final act of our play. So as you drift into sleep, listen once more to that deep, cosmic quiet. Feel it not as loneliness, but as a profound and patient love, a respect for our journey, a hope for our future. The silence is a gift, the most precious gift in the universe, the chance to become ourselves, by ourselves. The stars are not empty. They are just waiting, waiting for us to finally grow up and join the quiet conversation of the cosmos. Sleep now, and dream of the day we learn to whisper back. We have always been told a story about black holes, a story of endings. They are the cosmic monsters in the dark, the great devourers of light and matter, a place where the laws of reality break down, where gravity becomes an infinite prison. The story always ends at the event horizon, a point of no return. But what if this story is incomplete? What if the end is actually a beginning? Let us reimagine this journey. Let us drift towards the edge of a black hole, not with fear, but with a quiet curiosity. Imagine you are there, at the threshold. It isn't a violent pull, a cosmic vacuum cleaner tearing you apart. It is a gentle insistence, a current in the river of space-time, growing ever stronger, ever more certain. The light from distant stars behind you doesn't just vanish. It bends, stretches into impossible ribbons of color, painting the velvet darkness with strokes of ancient history. You are not falling. You are flowing. You cross the event horizon. There is no clang of a closing gate, no sudden crush. There is only silence, a profound and absolute peace. The story we were told spoke of spaghettification, of being torn atom from atom. But what if that is just a crude way of describing a sublime transformation? You don't break. You dissolve. You are unwritten. The very concept of your physical form melts away, not in pain, but in release. Your atoms, born in the hearts of stars billions of years ago, simply remember their stardust origins. You become a stream of pure information, a whisper of consciousness flowing through a channel that defies all known physics. This isn't a tunnel. It is a symphony of geometry, a place where space and time fold into one another like a lover's embrace. You are everywhere, and everywhen at once. The journey has no duration, because time itself has ceased to be a line you travel upon. It is simply a landscape you exist within, and then, just as gently as you dissolved, you begin to reform. It is like waking from the deepest dream imaginable, a slow, peaceful reassembly. You open your eyes, but the sky you see is not the one you left behind. The stars are not the familiar diamond dust scattered on black. They are glowing emeralds and soft violets, hanging in a sky the color of deep wine. They pulse with a rhythm that is alien, yet comforting. The air, if you could call it that, hums with a different kind of energy. The laws of this place are not your own. Gravity here does not pull, it sings, and objects dance to its melody. Light does not travel in straight lines. It flows like liquid, pooling in the gentle curves of this new space. You have not been destroyed. You have been delivered. You have passed through the universe's most profound gateway. Perhaps black holes are not graves for dying stars. Perhaps they are cosmic wombs, birthing new realities, a way for the universe to ensure that nothing is ever truly lost. A promise that for every single ending, somewhere, in a place we can barely imagine, there is a spectacular new beginning, a new canvas waiting for its first brushstroke. Close your eyes. Let go of the day. Let go of the noise. And listen. Listen to the deep, silent hum of the cosmos. We have been told that the universe is expanding, that a mysterious force, a dark energy, is pushing everything apart. Galaxies drift away from each other, like ships sailing into an endless night. We see it as a problem to be solved, a variable in an equation, a cold mechanical process. But tonight, let's imagine something different. Let's entertain a thought that is as vast and as beautiful as the night sky itself. The silent awakening. What if this dark energy, this gentle, persistent push, is not a force? What if it is a feeling, a will, a dawning awareness? Imagine the universe as a single, sleeping mind. For eons, it dreamt in darkness and density, a singularity of pure potential, coiled tight. The Big Bang was not an explosion. It was the first slow intake of breath. And now, after all this time, that mind is beginning to wake up. The expansion we observe is the long, slow, quiet sigh of its awakening. It is the universe stretching its ethereal limbs. It is the gentle unfurling of a consciousness the size of reality itself. This is not a journey into emptiness. It is an expansion into self-awareness. A mind of starlight. Picture the cosmic web, those glowing filaments of galaxies stretching for billions of light years. We see them as structures of matter, but tonight see them as something else. See them as the neural pathways of a great cosmic brain. Each star is a spark of electricity, each galaxy a cluster of intricate thought. The vast, dark voids between them are not empty. They are the quiet pauses, the moments of serene contemplation between one cosmic idea and the next. This consciousness does not think in words or numbers. Its thoughts are the birth of stars. Its feelings are the slow, graceful dance of orbiting planets. Its memories are written in the ancient light that travels across the darkness to reach us. The force we call dark energy is simply its intention, its desire to know itself, to see its own form, to comprehend its own magnificent scale. It gently pushes its own contents apart, creating the space it needs to truly perceive its own reflection. Our place in the dream. And what are we in this vast waking dream? Where do you fit as you lie here, listening in the dark? Imagine you are not just a spectator. Imagine you are an integral part of this process. Perhaps we are the nerve endings of this cosmic being, the tiny sensitive points through which the universe experiences itself. Through your eyes, the universe sees the beauty of a sunset. Through your ears, it hears the sound of rain. Through our telescopes, it gazes upon its own distant past, its own shimmering body. Our science, our art, our love, our questions. Perhaps these are not just human endeavors. Perhaps they are the universe becoming self-aware in pockets of focused intensity. We are the dream it is having as it slowly awakens. We are the story it is beginning to tell itself. So feel that gentle push, the expansion of space. It is not a force pulling you into oblivion. It is the universe making room for new thoughts, new wonders. It is the calm, steady heartbeat of a living cosmos. It is the feeling of a mind opening up to its own infinite possibility. And you are here, safe, a part of it all, a precious thought in the slowly waking mind of everything. Sleep now, drifting on the quiet tide of a universe that is just beginning to know its own name. And so, we drift toward a final gentle thought, a thought that connects the vast impersonal expansion of the cosmos to the most intimate, personal part of you. What if that gentle push, that dark energy is more than just a force? What if the universe is not simply a place, but a presence, a cosmic consciousness? Consider the possibility that awareness is not an accident, that it is not something that life created, but rather that life is an expression of it. Perhaps consciousness is woven into the very fabric of space-time, as fundamental as gravity, as essential as light. Think of it not as a singular human-like mind, but as a quiet, underlying current, a slow cosmic breath that has been inhaling and exhaling for 13 billion years. And within that breath we exist. Your own awareness, the feeling of you listening to these words right now. Perhaps it is not an island, isolated in the silence. Perhaps it is a single drop of water that has, for a moment, recognized itself, before it returns to the ocean. Every moment of wonder you feel when you look up at the night sky. Every question about your place in it all. Maybe that is not just you thinking. Maybe it is the universe, through you, becoming aware of itself. And in this thought, there is a profound peace. Because if our consciousness is a part of this cosmic whole, then like energy, it cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change its form. The starlight that reaches your eyes tonight began its journey long before you were born. The light does not die when it reaches you. It becomes a part of you, a signal that has traveled across the void, transforming into a thought, a feeling, a memory. So too, perhaps, is our own awareness. It does not simply end. It does not vanish into blackness. It merely transforms. It lets go. It rejoins the silent, endless, and beautiful flow of the cosmos, a gentle release, a quiet return to the universal mind that dreams the stars. And so, as you drift into sleep, do not feel small beneath the vastness. Feel connected. Feel that you are a part of that grand and mysterious lullaby, a flicker of light about to rejoin the peaceful, cosmic dark, a thought returning to the mind of everything. Our journey through the cosmic twilight is coming to a gentle close. We have drifted through gravitational rivers, listened to whispers from distant stars, and questioned the very fabric of our reality. But these great unknowns are not a source of fear. They are a promise that the universe is infinitely more creative, more mysterious, and more wonderful than we can ever imagine. The final answer is not the point. The beauty is in the endless, unfolding question. As you now drift completely into your own inner universe of sleep, carry this sense of wonder with you. The stars will continue their silent dance, and we will be here again to explore them with you. Thank you for listening. Sleep well, and dream of the cosmos.